So this morning we installed the new exhaust system, tied up a few loose ends that we had to tie up with the new motor and transmission and everything else that we put in here. We then started her up, gave her a quickie tune, and drove her up and down the block a couple of times just to make sure everything's working well and all the new and old parts are playing well together. We then threw her up in the air, and I figured while I have her on the lift, I'd take you guys for a tour underneath the car, show you some of the things we did. So for the front steering, everything's brand new. New tie rods on either end. New center link, new idler arm, new steering stabilizer, new bushings and brackets for the anti-sway bar, new shock absorbers for the lower and upper control arms. We put new urethane bushings, new upper and lower ball joints, new shock absorbers. Then for the brakes, we put new rotors, new calipers, new brake hoses. For the wheels, all new wheel bearings. We then installed all new transmission cooler lines. They go from the transmission to the radiator and back. New power steering lines. You can see the new motor, the new transmission, the new drive shaft, and we get to the new exhaust system. The exhaust system mounts to the exhaust manifold, which mounts to the motor. From there, the exhaust system is mounted by these three bolts and the brass nuts. And the brass nuts are there so they do not rust. And when you go to loosen up the exhaust system, you don't break the bolts. The exhaust system then straddles both sides of the motor, both sides of the tranny. It's got to clear the shifter linkage and all the cables and wires coming out of the transmission and the motor. From there, it crosses underneath the cross member for the transmission, crosses underneath the cable for the brakes, for parking brakes. Then it goes on to either side of the new drive shaft. From there, the exhaust system tucks up into its little pockets and connects to the mufflers. The mufflers also tuck up into their little pockets underneath the back seats. Now, the exhaust system gets real complicated. This is what I was showing you last night. The exhaust system then runs up and right next to the trailing arm. The trailing arm is connected to the rear axle. The trailing arm is also connected to the body of the car. Trailing arm moves up and down with the rear axle. So the exhaust system has to clear that trailing arm and allow it to move up and down, as well as the spring and the rear axle itself. Then when we get to the back side over here, you can also see the brake lines running across the rear axle. The exhaust system also has to clear that. Then if we go into here and up and look in here, you can see how little room there really is to get everything to clear the exhaust system. That's all the room you have. And you can see how high up we have the pipes going. They are right about to the floor of the well here. You also have the springs back there that the exhaust system has to clear. So there's a lot going on back here that the exhaust system has to clear and cannot hit, because if it hits it, you're going to hear it inside. You can also see, what are those? Those are fuel lines. The exhaust system rests on any of those, you're going to have a fire. So from there, the exhaust system goes up over the rear axle, comes out and around, goes around the fuel tank, then goes underneath the frame over there, down alongside that side of the frame, and to the tailpipe and out the back. Now on this side of the exhaust, as you can see, we just haven't finished. We just got to cut the tip off over there, and then we'll put one of these nice chrome tips on it. So it looks really cool when you see it from the back side. So there you go. There is the exhaust system that we just installed into the 1977 Monte Carlo. And as you can see, it looks really good. Everything's nice and even. Everything's nicely tucked. Everything looks good. There is nothing hitting. Nothing is dragging. And this car is coming out absolutely beautiful. I will keep you up to date as we get on with this car. And keep throwing these videos at you. I really appreciate that you guys appreciate these videos. So anyhow, have fun. Talk to you soon. Okay, bye.